Facebook group to enjoy 1 hour together, 1 hour this tonight, devoted to the astral alignments in Sardinia during the days of the equinox. Very magical time. Yes. So we are now greeting everyone, each of you connecting tonight, but of course we are also giving our warm welcome to those who are going to watch this episode, this program, later on during the week or whenever they have some time free to watch this episode. Yes. Okay.
As you know, Sardinia is one of the most incredible places where to see these phenomena. Sardinia is a very ancient island with a very ancient population that was totally devoted to sacredness, energies, spirituality, and praying, being connected with nature and with ancestral spirits and astral forces of the skies. There are very few areas, ancient population around the world where you can see these alignments, and Sardinia is one of these, even if almost nobody knows about it. It should be at least as famous as Stonehenge and Karnak in France, and Egypt and other places where you can see these astral phenomena.
Yes, that's right. Okay, we would like to underline that Sardinia was part in ancient times, in the Neolithic period, was part of the megalithic culture that we can actually find everywhere in Europe. Northern Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Southern Europe. So in those days, the culture overall was megalithic, and so people would build with very big stones. Yes, and at the same time, I would like to underline that the sky was very, very important to ancient people in many cultures around the globe. So the sky was actually something that ancient people at a point really started to observe, to watch, and by observing and watching the sky, they gradually found out that the sky shows phenomena that are always constant. They go in cycles, and for this reason, to the views of the ancients, the sky became the archetype of supreme harmony. And it is very interesting to see that we find this vision in so many different parts of the globe. For example, India in a very, very ancient time, or China, or for example, Central America, and in many places of Europe. And for this reason, because people in those days understood that the sky has these phenomena that are constant, the cults became astral. And so all the gods and goddesses were actually seen in the sky. This is really very important to underline. But they also had a vision where, for this reason actually, because the sky was this archetype of supreme harmony, it was also a reason to project this harmony here on earth. Yes. And so to try to build monuments in relation with the sky.
The astral forces were also, as I told you, forces, so energies, objects that had their properties, healing properties, magical properties, also, because these ancient people were following magical religious culture, kind of living. So it was like a shamanic view in which everything in nature had its spirit and its qualities. Ancient shamans or priests and priestesses always tried to harness these properties, like for their personal healing magical uses, like for example, when a shaman tries to understand an herb, a plant, its qualities, and in order to understand how to use it for healing. So as they did with plants, understanding if the spirit of that plant was yang, was yin, was for it had a fire power, maybe, or had a calming, soothing power. At the same, in the same way, they try to understand stars, planets, constellations.
Yes.
Thanks to these understandings, they developed a way to harness the power, the energies, the spirit of the stars and moon, the sun, and planets for their own magical uses. They did it through receiving these energies and memorizing these energies inside waters, which were exposed to the stars and to the skies, to memorize the star frequency inside the waters for healing purposes. But afterwards they managed also to build entire monuments which were able to harness these energies directly with alignments, in a way to expose ourselves, our body directly to these energy forces of the sky. That is why they decided to build monuments with these alignments.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons. There are actually always many reasons behind the buildings of those amazing monuments. And one of the reasons was also to have an opportunity to meet what they consider their gods and goddesses, because in those days, in their views, the gods and goddesses were not far away, were not separated, but it was possible to meet them and to be in a constant dialogue with them. We have also to say, and also we say hello to Mirella. Mirella always follows our live programs here on Bridges of Light International. So hi again and welcome here. And I was saying that the vision of the ancients was that of seeing that we live inside cycles. And one of the most important cycles was the cycle of the year, the cycle of the seasons. And they had actually understood that along this cycle, the sun has a very specific cycle, actually. And so, for example, in summer, on the 21st of June, the sun is really at its highest point in the sky. And so it is when we have very long days. On the contrary, during the winter solstice, we have the shortest days of the year, and the sun is very low on the horizon. But during the equinoxes, the two equinoxes, spring and autumn, then we have the same amount of hours of daylight and night, and at the same time the sun rises at the true east and sets at the true west. So it is a very special time of the year. And here on the island of Sardinia, we have many monuments aligned to these four parts of the cycle of the year. So we have many monuments that are aligned to the equinoxes, both equinoxes, of course. And this is quite peculiar, if you like. We have to say that the old Sardinian population built an enormous amount of monuments, and this is also a reason why we still have many left, and many where we can actually observe these extraordinary alignments, because some of them are really extraordinary. And every year, during these times of the year, Enrico and I organize trips to go and observe these alignments in Sardinia. And so we have groups coming in order to observe and experience these energies, because part of our work is actually devoted to experience these energies, feeling these energies. It is a very important thing, because we would really like people to understand how people used to think and live in those days, and how they used to perceive these energies. Yes. So maybe, Enrico, we can show some of these alignments. This year we are going to have a tour starting from the 20th of September, lasting until the 27th, of course, of September. So it is 1 week, and so if you really want to come and enjoy these ancient sacred places of Sardinia, you can choose, of course, you can follow the whole week, or maybe you can choose a few days if you do not have all the time to follow every day. But it will be a whole week of itineraries around Sardinia, seeing some of the most beautiful monuments, and some of them, as we were saying, are aligned to the sun. The sun was the life force, of course, and so it was particularly honored by the Nuragic people, as they are called, the ancient people of Sardinia. Yes.
Here we can see a reconstruction of one of the monuments we have in Sardinia. We have sacred wells, we have Nuraki Towers, and we have these giants' tombs. These are the main kind of monuments we have here in Sardinia. The giant's grave was, of course, a grave. It was used, it is believed it was only used to bury only the bones of only the most important people of the tribe. Usually we think they were shamans, priests or priestesses that were buried here, people of knowledge, of spiritual knowledge. Let's see some monuments here. Some example in Arzachena. This is Lilolgi giant's grave. As you can see, the stones are very, very big, megalithic, and sometimes monolithic. All these stones are single blocks of granite rock, which is very hard to carve. And these monuments are precisely aligned to the east-west axis. What is the meaning of the east-west axis? As Arianna was saying, it is only during the equinoxes that we have the sun rising at the exact east and setting at the exact west. The meaning is really the meeting of the yin and the yang principle, because only during those days, the 21st of March and 23rd of September, we have 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. And these days are really 2 days of the year connected to the balance between the male and female. Inside the monument we can see this symbolism, because the main stele, the big one you see here, it's like a phallus, and the entrance, the very small entrance at the bottom of the stele, is like a vagina. So it is the really meeting of the two principles. As you can see from the top, the shape of the monument is like bull's head. On the right hand side of the picture, you can see the horns. That amphitheater, if turned upside down, can be the horns of the bull's head, and the corridor, the burial chamber, can be the face. So this is the symbol of life, because at those time The bulls or the sacred cow was the symbol of life. It was an animal that granted food and milk, meat, and prosperity to all the village. The bulls or the cow's horns are also in the shape of the moon, because when the moon is at its early phases, it has the shapes of the horns of a bull, so it is connected to fertility. So it really isn't a tomb, a grave. It actually is the house of eternity. This monument symbolism speaks about the eternal life of being reborn again. The corridor was completely covered, so it was very dark, like inside the womb of a woman. And when the equinox will happen during the day of 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness, the male principle and the female principle will meet again. And here we have a picture about this incredible alignment. The sun, which is the male principle because it emits light, it emits heat, will fertilize the human's womb, so the darkness of the interior part of the burial chamber, giving life again to the deceased person. So actually that person wasn't really dying inside the tomb. It was in fact being re-energized, reborn.
Or helped. Another meaning was that of helping the souls of the deceased to travel towards the dimensions of the afterlife. As you see, there are lots of symbols within this kind of alignment. And we have to say that it was during the 80s that an archaeoastronomer from the University of Cambridge, Dr. Hoskin, sorry, I just couldn't remember now.
Yeah.
Michael Hoskin came to Sardinia and decided to study thoroughly the giants' graves of the island to see if there was a specific alignment. And watching and studying more than 200 giants' graves, he found out that most of them have actually this kind of alignment, east-west. And so it was understood straight away that these giants' graves were aligned to the equinoxes. And from that, it was really clear, or more clear actually, the whole meaning of the symbolism of these giants' graves. We also have to say that when the sun enters this small door, the womb of the giant's grave, something happens on an energetical level, because at that moment, in that exact moment, the whole monument gets energized. So the frequency, the normal frequency of the monument gets higher and higher. And so we really understand that, because we see it, we understand that the monument was built in order to be inside this cosmic and earth cycle. And for this reason, if you are there in that exact moment and you lie down in the corridor of the tomb, or you sit on the stone of the semicircle, you will really get energized as well. You will get this energy that can really cleanse our body, our aura, harmonize our chakra in a very short time, because the energy is really high, very, very high. And because we know that this place was also a place for healing, we can also imagine that in those days people would gather at the giants' graves during the equinoxes for celebrations, to celebrate eternal life and to get deep spiritual healing. Because when the energy gets so high, then the healing is really complete. That means it works so well on our subtle bodies and can help to get a very deep transformation, inner transformation as well. And this is also the reason why we encourage people to come and celebrate during the equinoxes with us, because it is really a great time to help cleanse your body, cleanse your aura, reinforce and harmonize our chakras. It is really a moment where we can get inside ourselves, meditate in these special places. Yeah. And so, as we were saying, this year the itineraries will start on the 20th of September and will go on until the 27th of September, and it will be a wonderful time to celebrate together and to honor these places, get connected with the sky energies, the earth energies, really reconnect within ourselves. So it is a true moment of healing and transformation. And people can really get in touch with these amazing archetypes and symbols that really work inside. As Jung was saying in some of his books, in ancient days, human beings were not disconnected, were not neurotics, because they were in touch with everything, in touch with nature, in touch with myths and archetypes. And by experiencing these moments, we can reconnect and find again our harmony, we can find ourselves again, we can find our essence again, we can really get inside ourselves. And this is the meaning, the most important meaning to gather in those days, and what we find it is important as a message for the human beings of today. Mm-hmm. We also have, Enrico, some other pictures of other phenomena that it is possible to actually watch during the equinox.
Of course. Here you have some examples of Nuraki Towers. As you can see, they can be very, very complex.
They are extraordinary monuments.
Yeah.
You can find them only in Sardinia.
Usually the main tower, we have many types of Nuragic towers. You can also have single towers, but in this case we are going to talk about the side towers as for the equinoxes, because the main towers of the Nuragic complexes usually are aligned to the solstices. So now we are talking about equinoxes, and equinoxes will happen a bit differently in comparison to the solstice. They will not happen inside the main tower, but it will happen on the side towers you are seeing around the main towers. As you can see here, we have an example. This is the main central tower you are seeing now, but on the front line of the picture you can see a small side tower that now is destroyed. This is an example of how the side towers were built next to the main tower. These many times are called calendrical chambers. Why is that? Because actually this very dark, again, darkness means womb's interior, so they are connected to the female archetype, even if the tower is phallic in shape, so it is male, it has a male-like shape. We still have the balance of male and female principles. The female principle is represented by these dark rooms inside the tower with a circle-like shape. Not exactly a circle, but many times it is more like a womb shape, elliptical, like female's genitalia, or a bit like a triangle, like the womb. So inside these side towers, we have very often many. This is an example of a reconstruction of one of the biggest, more important nuraghi in Sardinia. As you can see on the side towers, there are some fissures here on the first side towers you can see on the front line of the picture. We can see it better. This is the same nuraghe. From the inside, you can see these fissures. Okay. These fissures are many times old archaeologists insist to say they are for warlike functions, but really they are at the ground floor. You cannot really throw an arrow from there. You cannot see anything, so it's just a stupid theory. They are having very serious difficulties in change their mind. Actually, these fissures are used to intersect the lights of the sun and the moon at the horizon. So these side towers, because they are on the side, they have not 360 degrees view, but almost half 180 degrees view all around the horizon. So these features can intercept the lights of the sun, the moon, and some stars and constellations when they rise and set at the horizon. And here you have an example during the equinox, the sunrise of the equinox at the Santa Barbara Nuragi. And many times, as you can see, these windows can hit the opposite window. So this is the same phenomenon. From the left, you can see the light coming inside the room and hitting the opposite window.
Yes.
So marking the point where the sun will set the same day, because you have east-west windows. So when the sun rises from one side, it will hit the place where the sun will set. And when the sun will set, it will hit with a beam of light the place where the sun will rise.
Yes. Of course, at a point, for human beings, it became important to mark the time. And a way was actually to align stones, or like here, chambers made with stones to the cycle of the sun. It was really a way for them to mark the time. It became important at a point, very important. And it was important for agriculture, for example. And also it was a way to mark the time to celebrate, because to celebrate the sacredness of life and their gods and goddesses. That was a very important part of the ancients' life. Yeah, and so this is still a phenomenon that we can actually watch in some of the nuragis of Sardinia, because these chambers are still very well preserved, and so it's really like a leap into a very old day. It's always quite exciting to see and watch this phenomena for this reason, because you actually, it's really like being in a time machine and watching something. Yes. Okay, I see some other people watching and writing.
Hi, you and Rebecca.
Yeah, hi. It's so nice to have you here every time. And we really hope to see you next year. We are planning with Megalittomania, the group run by the researcher Hugh Newman, to visit Sardinia in September during the equinox. And so, if you join us, you will be able to watch some of these phenomena, to watch with us these phenomena. It is really great. So we hope to see you back here in Sardinia. So Mariella, hi, Mariella is also asking something.
Yeah, we really didn't understand the question, but actually at the giant's grave, not the giant's grave, the giant's grave or giant's tomb, actually the other stones you saw at the hemicycle, actually they can be aligned to the other seasons. Because if you put a menhir in front of the giant's grave, the menhir will cast a shadow to the different stones of the hemicycle, so they could mark also all the other seasons,
Yes.
not only the equinoxes. I don't know if the question was about this.
Okay, Rebecca and you are saying, okay, looking forward to it. See you in September 2021. Yeah, great. Yes, we will have a great tour, visiting places, new places, places you haven't seen yet, but also we are going to watch some of these phenomena.
Yeah.
And one is actually the one that you can see at the sacred well of Santa Cristina. I think we have some images to show our people.
Here you have reconstructions of some of the sacred wells of Sardinia. They are not all built like this. Actually, Saint Christina is totally different.
Yes.
And so we'll see here Saint Christina.
Yeah, this is probably, we can say, probably the most exquisite monument in Sardinia, or at least the most exquisite of the sacred wells of Sardinia. And you can see how the rocks were carved in such a precise way, and we have these stairs going down, reaching the well, the water of the well, and we also have, you can see it very well in this picture, the stairs going up. So we really have this symbolism of above and below, above and below. And during...
Here you have
yes,
the stars, the stairs.
Yes.
At the top of the left picture, you can see the two stairs.
Yeah, you see that the entrance is really an amazing door, you know, the way it was built. It's really amazing. And
here you can see the a quite perfect female shape on the left. This is the plan of the sacred well, and it is really a female's reproductive system because it's elliptic, and you have all the female's genitalia, anatomical features like outer labia, inner labia, vagina, and clitoris on the left picture. So it really is totally female monument. But in those days there would have been a small menhir inside the water to balance the female and male principles.
Yes, yes. Because
inside the water here you can see on the pictures on the right where the water is.
Yes. And during the days of the equinox, the sun manages to reach around 11 o'clock in the morning, to reach the waters of the well and enlighten the whole chamber, which is normally dark. So again, just like in the giants' graves of Sardinia, which are aligned to the east, here we have the meeting, the encounter between the male principle, the sun, with the feminine principle, the womb and the water, because the water is also a feminine principle. And this happens only during those days. So you can, of course, understand that the well was built with a very, very precise perspective.
In this case, the monument is aligned to the south. That's because the alignment in this case will not happen during sunrise or sunset, but at midday. So it's a very precise unusual alignment at midday, because almost all the ancient civilization that knew about this phenomenon always aligned at the horizon, because it was quite easier to align a monument to the horizon, because you have reference, a line of reference, which is the horizon. It is quite more difficult to align something like this with the sun or the moon at the top of the sky, because you have to do many more calculations in order to catch the exact point in the sky where the sun will be at that day.
Yes.
During that time.
Yes, it is far more difficult. Here we have actually 26 stairs going down to the well, so it is a very deep well. And so let's see what happens. There is a very special phenomenon, because when you walk down the stairs and you reach the water, then you will see your image reflected in the waters. But at the same time, you will see your image reflected on the walls before you, but you will see your image upside down. And it is very interesting that you see your image within an egg, like an egg of light, you see. It's our aura, our field, our energy field. It represents our energy field around ourselves. Because actually, as you see in the picture, and the picture was made actually with a normal camera, you see that the person becomes pure light. And so it is a way to visualize that we are energy, we are light, and that we have a field of light around us. But what is interesting is that when you see the person upside down, the person is actually walking the stairs going up to the sky. So it is a way to visualize in the building, in the sacred architecture, the Hermetic motto, as above, so below, as below, so above, because we see the two perspectives. And this is very exciting to observe, but very exciting especially to experience by walking down the stairs and watching yourself projected upside down on the wall just in front of you. And if you think about it, the symbolism is really very deep, because here we also have the symbolism of when you walk down the stairs, it's like walking within yourself in order to discover yourself, to discover who you are. And this was very important in ancient days. Do not forget that in Greece, at the Temple of Delphi, this is what was written at the entrance of the temple: know yourself. And this is symbolized here inside the well. So you walk down the stairs, you get in touch with yourself, and you get purified by the water, because we have already told you that these waters are healing waters, and so you could get a purification and a cleansing. And we can imagine that only after many times getting inside the well, not during the equinoxes, but the normal days when the well was dark, only after many times experiencing that and cleansing yourself, you could actually get there during the days of the equinoxes and experience the light, because you were then ready to a further step. You were already ready to walk towards a spiritual dimension. And when you are ready to walk on a spiritual level, that means that your vision and your perspective has changed, so much so that it's upside down. So it is a very, very deep meaning within this well.
So we will answer some questions.
Yes.
We are seeing now. For you and Rebecca, yes, Saint Christina is connected to the equinox.
Yes.
Sorry, I changed something.
Yes.
Okay. Saint Christina is connected to the equinoxes, so we will meet there to see the phenomenon.
Yes. To see the phenomenon I was just describing.
Yeah, and Mariella, it is not a tomb; it is a sacred well. So a sacred monument dedicated to the waters. 26 steps. Like 26 weeks of half year, very, very good thought.
Yes.
Yeah, because in 1 year you have 52 weeks, and so 26 weeks is 6 months, and the phenomenon will happen actually every 6 months. Very, very good thought.
Yes. Great, Rebecca. Really great. And yes, moon, Isis, of course. This well is connected with the moon. It is connected with the cycle of the moon lasting 18 years and a half. So there are many cycles embedded within this well. And the moon cycle will be visible in 2024. And so that will be really a time to be there, actually, to watch the moon. In that case, the moon reflects from the very top, the hole on the top, inside the well. Yes.
Here you have pictures of both the alignments. You have the sacred well, and here you can very well see that this monument is the meeting of the male and the female principle, because both the sun and the moon will meet inside the well.
Yeah. We can actually say that from an astronomical point of view, this is the most exquisite of the monuments of Sardinia. Imagine that most people in those days didn't know about this cycle of the 18 years and a half of the moon, and the ancient people of Sardinia had such a wisdom and knowledge that they even managed to put this cycle within a monument in this way. And so they were really very sophisticated for those days. And you see, we also have a table with the energy, showing the energy inside the well. So
on your right hand side of the picture, you have all the numbers of each step and the equivalent energy you can find on that step.
Of course, this is expressed in Bovis units, the scale that is used officially in dowsing. And as you see, the first 9 steps have a kind of very low energy, because you have to empty yourself before charging yourself, you know. It is always very important to, you know, empty before charging. And then after that, starting from the 10th step, you get more and more energy, higher and higher, until you reach the water, which is during the days of the equinox, 410,000. So it is a very, very high vibration, really high vibration. And for this reason, this water can be really healing water, transformative water. And this is, I think, the last thing we can say before we leave you, because the well is connected with the cycle of the 18 years and a half of the moon. There is a karmic connection with this. So this means that in this well, with this water, you can cleanse and purify your karma, because this is connected with the moon's node cycle, which connects our bodies, subtle bodies, to our karmic lives. Yeah, and our So there is a very strict connection with that as well on an esoteric level. Any other questions?
Mariella is saying, water has always had a spiritual and healing symbolism, of course.
Yes.
And asking the name of the goddess in Sardinia.
We don't know. We don't
really
know.
don't know.
We don't know, because unfortunately these people didn't make use of writing, and so we don't know. We don't know the name, and of course we don't know the name of their gods and goddesses. We know that the moon and the sun were the gods and goddesses by observing this phenomena, and it was really clear that it was them, but we do not know, unfortunately, their names.
So
Nuragi is one of the fewest words that comes from those days.
Ichnusa is the Greek name, not the original Sardinian name for the island, but we really don't know the name of gods and goddesses.
No, unfortunately, we don't know.
We may have the name of the male god of rain, which is Maimone.
But this is more recent, but we have it. And probably it might be that there was a root for the moon, a root Sin. For example, we have a region, a local region called Penisola del Sinis, Sin,
which is connected to the moon.
Yes, to the root moon. But this root, we know about this root, but we don't know anything else. So what else? Thanks for watching. So we are looking forward to seeing you in Sardinia for the Equinox itineraries. If you can come this year from the 20th to the 27th of September, you can actually have a look, but we will write on the our website to have a look of these itineraries. And Rebecca and Hugh, if you have a look at the programs of Megalithomania, there is actually the entire program of our tour in 2021. So bye for now, and see you next week. Bye.
See you.
See you.